This tutorial will share how to create versions to an assignment in GradeCam. When creating a version, different types of questions and answers can be used. With versions, you can still view the overall data together, such as on the score graph report. Assignment versions can be created to create assignments with accommodations, such as adjusting question types for alternate instructional needs or by including alternate and additional information for instructions. Creating a version allows for creating those alternate assignments for specific students while still keeping class results together so that the overall data of the assessment can be viewed for the class. If standards are linked to the questions, you can also view the class by standards report together for all the versions and variations. Select the assignment that you want to create the versions. Select the Keys tab. To the left below the Scan window, you will see the options to create a mapped variation and new versions. There are some key differences between variations and versions in order to understand the purpose of each. Variations allow for reordering questions while still keeping the ability to map questions so that item-specific data can be reviewed. You cannot adjust the answers between variations. Variations are good for developing reorganized assessments per class or for specific students. To learn more about creating variations, see the video Creating Variations to an Assignment in GradeCam. Versions can be created new or cloned from the primary. In versions, the question types and answers can be different, but you will not be able to view the multiple versions together when looking at item-specific reports such as the item analysis and the student by question reports. Versions can be created when developing assessment accommodations for specific learners. You can have up to 9 using any combination of variations and versions. For example, you can have 6 variations and 3 versions, which total to 9 overall. All versions and variations must have the same number of questions. To create a version where the question types and answers may be altered, select either New Version or you can clone the existing version. An important note is that all versions must have the same number of questions. If a question is added to any version, a question will be added to all versions and variations on the assignment. To create a default version, select New Version from the left under the Scan window. When you create a new version, the answer key is created with the same number of questions as the primary key, using default multiple choice question types. Select the questions to edit as you would a standard answer key. To create a cloned version, select the 3 ellipses next to the version you would like to clone. Select Clone Version, and then enter the new version name. When cloning a version, all question types, setups, and answers, as well as any attached standards or custom numbering, will also be cloned. If you would like to clone any existing mapped variations as well, select the toggle switch and then choose Save. In the new cloned version, questions can be moved and changed. Answers can also be changed. Make adjustments to the question types and answers as desired. All versions and variations must have the same number of questions, but you can have different point values. For example, if you would like to remove a question, adjust the point value to 0 so that the question does not affect the overall score. Once your variations and versions have been created, you may distribute the assignment to students. If you plan to print scan forms for students, please note that in order to have the option for students to select their own form version, all versions and variations must have the same answer key layout with matching question types and response options. For example, if all questions are multiple choice with answer options A through F, when you adjust the question order and answer selection, the question layout remains the same between the variations. Therefore, you will have the option for students to select the version on printed forms. If you have differing question types and setups with the questions in a different order, you will need to select the specific version you would like to print per class or for specific students. If the assignment is published to the assessment portal, be sure to attach the different test versions of the assignment and select the correct file to be displayed with the corresponding key. Then, in the online access settings for the portal, you may choose whether the variations are randomly assigned, Students will select their own, or you can assign specific versions to the class or to specific students. For the data that is available after students have submitted their responses, in reports such as the score graph and the reports that compare scores of all classes, you can view the results for the versions and variations together. However, when using different versions, the item-specific data will be viewable separately since there are different questions and/or answers. On reports such as the item analysis or the student by question reports, adjust the filter views to view the different versions. For even more collective data feedback in reports, add standards to questions on all versions and variations and use the student by standard report to view the data results for all. This concludes the tutorial on creating versions to an assignment in GradeCam. To learn more about creating variations, see the video Creating Variations to an Assignment in GradeCam.